What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning back into the Biz with D right here, right now on my First Wings Radio with your boy David Dwayne. We got Hazel E, the newest cast member of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. What's going on, beautiful?
Hello, what's going on? It's Hazel E, baby, and I'm out here in these streets riding around and getting it.
I know that's right. That's my whole thing, riding around and getting it.
Yeah.
It's so good to be speaking with you. I love your personality on the show. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. You know, it's hard trying to be a real one, so just trying to keep it real out here in these streets.
I know that's right. So tell me about, your journey in the music industry, because I know you started out off as a publicist. Tell me, what made you just, at first, just for people that don't know about you, your journey as a publicist. Tell me about that a little bit.
I went to college. I got a bachelor's degree in mass communications, PR. So, I started interning at a PR firm called Echoing Sounds and, eventually moved my way up into becoming a publicist. And, my first campaign with Gnarls Barkley, we got 2 Grammys. So I was holding down the young Hollywood scene out here in LA for a minute. And, after I got with one, really epic client, Idris Elba, he kind of asked me, like, Hazel, what would you like to do with yourself? And I'm like, Idris, I want to do music. And he DJs overseas, and we did my first mixtape, and I kind of didn't look back since.
Wow, that's incredible. And now, what made you want to transition from being a publicist to being an artist yourself? Because, like you said, you did major things as a publicist. What made you want to, do your music thing yourself?
First, everyone's always asking, like, why would you leave a great paying job and, have this epic publicist career to do artistry? But, I always have to give an example of, like, a Diddy. He started off as an intern and became, like, a music mogul and an artist himself and a brand ambassador. And, it's just like, just because you have one dream and, you reach your peak at that, there's many more dreams to have. And, I've always wanted to do music. So, you think it would be a little bit easier than it was because I was behind the scenes in music PR world, but I've had to put just as much work into, being an artist as I had to do being a publicist. I feel like it's the same amount of grind with going to college, interning, and all that. Here I put out 3 mixtapes, several videos, and, now I'm on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood just to give me the platform that I wanted that I felt like I couldn't ever, get with doing my music, pretty much independently.
Absolutely. And funny thing is, I do PR and I do music as well. So for myself, I can imagine what the transition from going or doing that all, like what that can be like. Because it's crazy, and a lot of people think that it's a easy ball game when your desire is to do music, or you've got that talent and you got that in your heart, and you're like, what? Let me kind of switch it up and really do what's right for me.
Yeah, it's just like, everybody's like, I live in Hollywood, so everybody wants to be an actor and actresses. And in the middle of the day, they're bussing tables or being waitresses or being doormen or security guards or whatever until they get their big break. So granted, I did have, an epic job as a publicist, and I was responsible for, taking the Boondocks from a comic strip to a TV show. So, my creative, juices are always flowing, and just artistically, I wanted to express myself. And I love rap and I love hip hop. I'm like a hip hop rock kind of chick, So it's just like, I wanted to do it. And I was like, and I'm going to do it. I don't care what, labels that people place on us. We're here to break the rules, not follow them.
I know that's right. And from, you doing your music like that, you had Valley Girl and stuff like that. And, that definitely did big things over in Cali, like that. Like, how would you say, like, your music now, from that point, starting off as, how that was for you, and how was, the creative transition been different?
Valley Girl was like my first record that I ever recorded, and we did make a splash on the West Coast with it, like I said, with the help of Driss. And, going into this next chapter of my life with new music, I actually have a solid team around me. My manager, Doc, he has his production company, and he's brought in epic producers like Paris Bueller from Bandcamp and artists like Jeremiah. And, you know, different people that we're working with now just to elevate my music. I'm growing as an artist, and this first single we're dropping that I played on Love and Hip Hop 2 weeks ago, Now You Know, it's taking off for us. You know, instead of going in the club just to host a party because you're a turn-up socialite, now I'm going in and, you know, on the stage performing every single gig, and the fans are reacting to it well because they see me on this journey on TV of trying to pursue my dreams. So I think it offers hope to a lot of people. Like, man, if I just grind, get to it, then I can do whatever I want. And that's just what the message I'm trying to convey to the masses is. And showing them, like, I'm really putting in work. I'm getting better every day. Every studio session, we growing.
I know that's right. And now a lot of people are wondering, you know, what made you want to do, like, Love and Hip Hop versus, you know, trying to just, you know, grind it out and, you know, do you think that you were, you know, making noise with your music and stuff like that, but why Love and Hip Hop?
I mean, first of all, it's Love and Hip Hop. I've seen what it's done for other artists. I was actually just watching an interview with Vincent Herbert and his wife Tamar the other day, and he even, being a high-powered industry label exec who's created tons of artists, Lady Gaga and stuff, said the new wave to break either artists that have, you know, been popular and kind of fell off, or for new artists is reality TV, because, you know, with those fans, with us hitting 5.3 million viewers in the first week, that's all these people that didn't even know I was rapping or doing music now can see me on TV doing it, and it just makes the fan base grow. It's just a huge platform, and honestly, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, it just shows us on our struggle to find love and be in this industry. Like, it's a tough battle because in LA, you know, everybody's trying to climb on top of each other to get to the top, and, you know, the industry life, the studio life, how grimy it is, how, you know, they have that term, quote unquote, excuse my language, fucking for tracks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're showing the real grind out here and saying that it ain't, you just don't walk in with a pretty face and can sing and now, you know, you're Beyonce. It just doesn't happen that way. And this show is definitely showing, like, wow, there are these artists, some of them I've been on or not on, are still popping, you know, whatever, but they're getting to this music game, and that's what the focus of this show is. Of course, you know, with the drama that comes along with it, but what better platform can I reach millions of people every week and show them that I'm working hard and I'm putting out great music?
Good point. And you know what, you mentioned the fact of reality TV show being a good thing for people to, you know, get their careers going and stuff like that. And I've even told people, I said, hey, I need to be on one of these reality television shows. And a lot of people need to be in the industry because it helps a lot. And they're like, no, but, you know, it can't just be about you. I mean, like, hell, it don't have to be just about me. It don't have to be about me in a relationship to be on a Love and Hip Hop, or somebody's got to be married to be in Atlanta Wives and stuff like that. Hell, you saying that, you home. Hell.
You're wrong, definitely. Like, I mean, when you do a reality show like this, you have to open up your life. Like, whether it's stuff with your family, with your friends, with your lover, you're opening up your life because you're exposing what your true grind is out here to fulfill your dreams specifically. So, you know, when people want to say, oh, you don't have to go on reality TV. No, you don't have to. But I'm not saying go on a show that's like a rotating cast and every season it's, you know, a new cast and you only get like 5 minutes. You know, we joined, you know, a franchise that was already building and budding and huge to show this aspect and this grind in LA and Hollywood. And, you know, I think that it's just a great platform for all the people who join the cast. And, you know, it's a cult following that they already had. So it just is better for us because now, you know, my fans went from, you know, saying hi, retweeting whatever, to actually telling me their thoughts, their opinions, like what they care about, what matters most to them, how they like me here, how they like me there. They're interacting with me way more now than they ever have before. And I'm very blessed and grateful for that.
That's amazing. And let's kind of talk about, you know, this season, how everything's been going so far. I know that you and Young Berg are having relationships like that. Tell me, because what I see is like that, like he really plays games, but he clearly, you know, he's got feelings for you. What's that all about? Because I think what he really needs to do is be with you. He needs to stop, you know, trying to, you know, Monday, Tuesday, I was like, okay, Berg, like you just really
right. Well, that's just more of a that's more of a knock it off situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, part of it is a turn up. You know what I'm saying? If Berg was really like that, you know, I wouldn't even be have been even trying to deal with him, you know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of flack for, oh, well, he told you, you know, this and that. And it's like, yeah, but I know Berg, and he's really not like that. That boy's working his butt off, you know, really 6 days out the week. And if somebody comes through, they come through. But at that time, you know, it is what it is. We've had a on again, off again, you know, relationship, friendship, business relationship for 8 years. And you know, when I went into the studio that day, I was just like, maybe we should make this more official because, you know, we keep coming back to each other. We're already working together due to the fact that your brother manages me, and we're back here in the studio together, so let's see what's up. You know, at the end of the day, I let Berg do what Berg do. You know, he said he was going to work on being a better man. Maybe it's just that's not where he's at this point in time in his life, and that's okay. And let him go. As long as he respects me, which he has issues respecting people in general, then you know, we ain't got no problems. And I can move on. I can definitely, my focus is my music. My business is getting on. It was never let me find a man. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, I would have just had already did that and not even be trying to focus on the music stuff. So, you know, it is what it is with him. I let him make it, let him and his little pull-up Pentagon go, you know, do what it do. And I'm going to go ahead and do what I do, which is get to this music, get to this record, get to this money, and make it happen for myself, with or without him or anyone, for that matter.
Right. I know that's right. And what's it like, you know, when it comes to working with him in the studio and stuff like that? Because, I mean, he's production-wise, songwriting-wise, he definitely has been doing a lot of great things. How's it, you know, working with him in the studio, though? What you say?
I mean, you know, they're going to have to stay tuned for that, you know, throughout the season, because it gets kind of crazy working with Berg, especially when, you know, it's his way or the highway sometimes. So it gets very interesting, but, you know, not to discredit him as a producer and his, you know, talent with songwriting and stuff like that. The things that I've seen him do with other artists are amazing. With me, you know, you kind of got to tune in and see how that unfolds.
Absolutely. And also this week, we saw, you know, you're a former good friend of yours, you and Sierra, kind of fall out and stuff like that. Kind of, I have to say, I was totally shocked because I was like, whoa. How did this go left field? Were you, as everything was going on, because you said that you started to see the difference with her drinking and, you know, with everything with rains like that, like, were you really, like, shocked in this, how she decided to take everything, you know, take the situation for what it was?
I mean, you know, I've known T for a very long time, and once we moved in together, you know, once you live with somebody, you see who they really are. And, you know, I always knew she had an issue kind of with drinking, like she just always did a little too much, in my opinion. And, I mean, clearly we see how it affects her, you know, on TV. She goes from 0 to 100 real quick when the, you know, Remy's in her system. So, yeah, I think due to, you know, we started with the show and, you know, she had to handle things with Ray, and I think that was, like, truly affecting her in every which way. And in a sense, I became, you know, kind of like a punching bag to her in a way, because when stuff wouldn't go right over there, she'd bring it back home to me, and it just started becoming, like, you know, not a comfortable place to be in. Like, no one wants to go to their home and feel like drama's going to unfold every time they walk in the door. So, yeah, you see us get into it, and it's just basically like, you know, you can't hurt the people that actually care about you most. And until you get your issues under control, then I'm going to have to bounce and do me, because this is unhealthy for the both of us, you know.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't feel like I could tell her what I was going to do beforehand, because things were just getting crazy. Ever since that tattoo party, it just started going downhill, because once you allow somebody to kind of turn up on you once or twice and you kind of, you know, forgive them and let them do it, they think it's a way of life and it's a habit, and that's just what was not going to happen. Like, okay, right. So you want to just do this all the time, so that's not going to work for me, and I'm going to go ahead and make the decision to, you know, get my own space. It's best for the both of us right now.
Definitely. And I feel like she kind of overreacted with the whole thing with, you know, you telling her, you know, what was going on with you and Berg, like that. Even if it was, you know, her, you know, to get over Ray J, like that, and get the tattoo removed and like that, which kind of really wasn't removed, but that's nor here nor there.
Right. Right.
Ray, we'll have to talk to Sierra about that when she comes on. But
right.
I like, a friend is a friend. You know what I'm saying? And you should. I don't know why she thinks that wasn't the right time. Hell, if I'm your friend and you want to talk about something, I'll be like, go ahead, girl, say what you got to say. Go ahead, boy. Yeah, homie, talk about it, because you're going through something almost very similar, and you should be able to, like, talk about that. It's kind of you decided to snap.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the whole point, is like, you know, T thinks this song is about her, and that's just how she lived her life, maybe because she got into the industry real young and was being catered to, or, you know, whatever. It's just kind of always, you know, about her a little bit. But, you know, I think that as friends, you know, I believe in loyalty before royalty, you know what I'm saying? And I always say, you know, you can't let opportunity affect your loyalty, or that shows the kind of character of the person you are. And if it is a two-way street, I felt like the thing with her and Ray had ended like 8 months before, so she was already in her healing time dealing with what was going on. The stuff with me and Berg was happening in present day. It was like what was current. So her being my best friend and sister, I definitely felt like she should have been a little bit more empathetic to me for whatever the situation was, whether she put it on the same platform as her and Ray. That's just what friends are. Whether I had a bad day at work, or I had a run-in at the mall, like, I'm supposed to be able to talk to my friend, whatever. It might not have been the same run-in she had at the mall, but damn, like, I should be able to talk to you about my run-in, you know what I'm saying? And she just wasn't having it, wasn't hearing it, and was, you know, very dismissive towards me about it. And at the end of the day, it's just like, okay, this friendship is starting to become a one-way street. So, like I say, let's just probably get some space from each other, because, you know, once you put your hands on somebody, it can never really come back from there. So, that's why it was just time to probably go before hands, you know, are laid, and it can never be repaired at that point.
Right. And it's a good thing that it didn't really have to go to that extreme measure, because that would have been a whole unnecessary shebang, and it would have been like, it can't be fixed, you know, once hands are, I mean, it can be fixed when hands are being laid on, but sometimes it's very hard to patch that wound.
Yeah, it gets, you know, didn't, but if it had to, I was ready. But now I'm just kidding, but thank God it didn't. And we're on our own stage. Like,
Hazel looked like she can kick some ass.
I mean, it's, you know, it's that H-Town Trill stuff. It's just in my blood. So, you know, even though I'm a nice person, and like I say, I'm loyal to a fault sometimes, I didn't want to have to put my hands on T. And, you know, I explained that. I didn't want to do that to her. She's already going through enough. But to make her open up her eyes, like, maybe if I walk away from her, maybe she'll really, you know, see, like, I can't be treating people like this. I done lost this. I done lost that person. Maybe I need to look at myself and see what I'm doing wrong, because it can't just be everybody else. And that's a lesson that everybody needs to learn in life. If things are happening constantly to you, sometimes we have to, you know, have self-reflection and look in the mirror and see, how am I, you know, doing things wrong, or what could I do different so I could avoid some of these, you know, pit stops and downfalls that I'm having.
I wish they would too, because a lot of people think that violence is the answer and stuff like that. And even my friend who watches the show, I'm like, listen, no, violence is not the answer. No, I would have not went off if I was Pierre, or no, I would not have went off on Mimi like Jocelyn did. Like, come on, y'all. Like, where do we think that violence is the answer?
Yeah, no, I mean, if it comes to it and it has to come to it, then it has to come to it. But it's definitely not the first solution. There's other ways to avoid violence. And, you know, we're in a society where bullying is such a big, you know, deal and a phenomenon right now. It's like, you can't go around picking on people. You know what I'm saying? God created all of us equal. So stand up for yourself. Don't let anybody push you over and walk over you. But definitely try to look at the alternative measures before it goes straight to violence, because, you know, no one wants to be sitting in jail for assault and battery, or having criminal records and can't get jobs and doing stuff because you couldn't control your emotions. So, you know, I mean, and sometimes it's warranted, you know, no shade, because I done had a smack down a time or two myself, you know what I'm saying? But it's just not the first answer, you know. That's why I felt the separation for me moving was probably the best answer, so that way it didn't come to that, because it was surely starting to go that way very quickly with us.
Right, especially with you guys living together. I mean, anything could have happened while those cameras weren't rolling. It would have been like, oh, well, damn.
Exactly.
They not filming today.
Exactly. That's what I had to tell people. I had to, tell people yesterday, like, the cameras aren't with you 24/7. So if something didn't go right in scene, you got to go back home with this person, and you got to work through it when they're not around, and when, stuff is going bad on TV, things are probably even worse off TV, So it just, in order to do this show and focus on my career and what I'm trying to do, by even doing this show, I needed space.
Exactly. So now let's talk about this, your new single, because, it's definitely, it's hot right now. I'm feeling the record and stuff like that. Very turn up. Tell them about it, just in case they don't already know.
Yeah, the new single drop called Now You Know. It's produced by Paris Buer at a band camp. Shout out to my manager, Doc. He's, executive produced the record as well. Young Industry, helped on the project. And, it's basically just everybody want to know where you've been at, what you've been working on, why you just kind of fell off the map. You put out this mixtape, you disappeared. Well, bitch, now you know. Here you go. Now you know. This is what I've been working on, and it's coming full force. Sometimes you got to take a step back to take a step forward. And the first single, Now You Know, is definitely a turn-up record. The ladies are loving it. It's going off in the clubs, and I just want my people to support me. It only gets better from here. But definitely, Now You Know. This is what Hazel been doing. Now You Know.
I love it. And so now, is Now You Know a record for an EP, a mixtape, album? What are you working this single for?
Well, I've already put out 3 mixtapes and, a bunch of videos. So going this time around, I was signed to Swisher House before, and I'm not currently signed to a record deal right now. So, me and my team just decided to put out an EP, titled Now You Know, and we have a collection of records that we have on there, like I said, with Jeremiah and Kay Young, and, Bueller produced a lot of the stuff on there, and basically, we're going to put it out, see what it do, and, hopefully, the big dogs are going to be calling, ready to drop that bag of money on you, girl, because I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready out here. We've been working. We weren't just neck-knacking on the show. We've been working. We've been getting this music together, so that way, now that the platform is here, we can just take off. You can see Hazel everywhere. You're going to see me every week for the rest of the year, and you can, get my music and hear me, and let's see if we can, turn it up. I'm trying to get out here with it.
Absolutely. And I definitely feel like you're in the right direction, stuff like that, because, like you said, you've been working for years and stuff like that, and people have been asking, where you've been at. Well, now you know where I've been at and what I've been doing, and now I'm here. I'm about to hit y'all in the face with it. Bam.
In the face. Like, it's nonstop. Every week you got to deal with me, period. Whether you like it, love it, hate it, it's Hazel. It's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Tune in. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Hazel E Baby, and join the movement, Boss up and get this money.
Absolutely. Well, Hazel, thanks so much for coming on the show. We definitely appreciate it. And you definitely got to come back after the season is on, so we can kind of talk about everything. And, are you going to shoot a video for your single?
Yeah, we're about to shoot the video for Now You Know. And like I said, we got a couple more records throughout the season you guys will see. And, we'll be matching it with the visuals very soon. Very soon. It's like we had a matching time clock with, everything that's going on. Everything got to be in sync. So the video is definitely coming. It just got released last week. So we're going to let it build a little bit, then hit them with that visual so they can really just catch the wave. What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Hazel E from Love and Hip Hop, and you're tuned in with my boy D from The Biz. It's Hazel E, baby. Turn up.